Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of British Czech and Slovak Association, I would like to welcome all of you here with us at the Czech Embassy in London, but also all of you watching us this event online, live at this stage, or from recording on our YouTube channel. Today we'll be screening the documentary Syn nepřítel státu, Son of a Public Enemy, made by the Czech director and author Eva Tomanová. The screening will be introduced by the director Eva Tomanová and will be followed by discussion and questions and answer sessions with Eva Tomanová as well as the main protagonist, Karel Šling. Few technical points from my perspective. If to those of you watching online, you should all have received an email with the link to the film. We recommend that you watch the film on the link because of the delay in picture and speech that might be too disruptive. You have this link in the chat. The film is 54 minutes, so 55 minutes from the point of when we start watching, when we finish the speeches, come back to us for the question and answers. So that was for them, not you. It is my pleasure to introduce Michal Žižlavský from the Czech Embassy, who cooperates with us for our events, and we are extremely grateful for this. So, Michal.
Thank you very much, Anna. Ladies and gentlemen, please, on behalf of the ambassador, let me welcome you here at the Czech Embassy in London. I'm very happy that we have so many of you with us today for something that is a very important topic, which is not being talked about as much as it should have been. The monster processes, as we call them, that this film will talk about, had probably two main goals. The first one was to, let's say, make an example of people that were a danger for the regime, for the communist regime, especially in its first years in the 1950s, where the communist idea was at its strength, the regime felt at its strength, and the regime was also at its most brutal stage. And the other one was, let's say, to punish the disobedience to the regime. And basically it started with soldiers. Usually it were the soldiers that fought during the Second World War in the West, which was seen as a threat for the regime, not just because they were, as they would call it, infected by the Western ideology of freedom, of democracy, but also they were very skillful fighters. They fought in the Second World War. They had the best training that they could get, usually here in the UK. And they were a real danger and threat for the regime because they were the only ones who had the power to overthrow the regime if it would get to it. So it started with people like General Heliodor Pika, then also the very visible enemies from the public as Milada Horáková. And in the end, it ended with people inside the communist regime, as Mr. Otto Šling or Rudolf Slansky. And what was one of the connections that the people, especially those that being purged from the party, had, was that they were Jews. So as you see, even in those times, Jews were still seen and used as a threat for the regime. Probably not a real one, but a very symbolic one, because Jews were always used as a threat, not just during these times, but as you all seen, during the Second World War and especially before it. And let me just make a quick shortcut to today, to what we're seeing. We're seeing Jews being again demonized and being endangered. We see anti-Semitism being brought back to life even more intensively than we've seen in the last decades. And you can see it's not new, it has deep roots, and it's something we should fight against and something we should point at, because as One of a famous Czech philosophers said, when Jews feel endangered in Europe, it means soon we will all feel endangered in Europe. Thank you very much for your attention, and I would like to pass word to the director of the movie.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I think this introduction of Mr. Žižlavský was really great, and I don't need much more to say. I would just like to thank the organizers and the embassy for being here, and I'm here for you, for your answers after the screening. Enjoy.
Now, I think I would like to start actually introducing Eva, and I don't think I need to introduce Karel Šling because you have obviously seen so much about his life, but if I can just talk about Eva for a little bit, so that we know who we're talking to. Eva is a Czech author and director with a background in journalism. For the last 12 years, she has worked for Czech TV, Febio and TV Barrandov, and as a director of documentary films and TV programs. Prior to that, she worked at TV Nova as investigator for current affairs and documentaries in one of the top journalistic broadcasts in the Czech Republic. She worked for television, documentaries and reportages in Ethiopia, Brazil, Spain, and was very successful as a high-level interviewer, interviewing former Czech President Václav Havel and many other politicians and actors. She was also a member of the executive board of the Czech Cinematography Fund, and Always Together was her first feature-length documentary and theatrical debut, and was premiered at the IDFA and nominated for the Best Debut. Another Chance is her second feature-length film, premiered at One World Film Festival in Prague and was awarded with a special jury prize. And it's our great pleasure to welcome Eva Tomanová here, who came from the Czech Republic to see us, to talk to us about the film, and of course Karel Šling, who is the main protagonist of the film. And so if I can just start with a few questions. I won't have too many questions because I understand that you might have a lot of questions as well to ask. But what made you, Eva, if I can start with you, what made you want to do this film? Why did you want to do this film?
Well, maybe it doesn't seem, but for me it was probably the most personal film I've ever done, because my grandfather was a political prisoner, and we sort of felt like we all lived, like our family lived with this feeling, and then I thought that I would maybe like to do something about it, and I knew that there was this research, and then I met Mr. Šling, because I have to say that the attorney in the film is my partner, and he actually he made it possible, because otherwise I think Mr. Šling would not talk to me.
So is that the case? What did your lawyer basically talk you into doing this documentary?
Yeah. Before we start shooting the film, we talked, so I know what to expect. So I prepare myself mentally.
And was it as you expected it to go?
Yeah, it was. I know that Mrs. Tomanová can get under your skin. That's her job to do it. But I knew that I could say no and refuse to answer, which was okay, it was part of the agreement.
You wanted to add something?
Yeah, I know that he called my husband and he's asked like if it was okay what I wanted, because Mr. Šling was not very happy with everything I asked, I think. And my husband said, just do what she says.
And what did making the documentary mean for you personally?
Well, it's somehow sort of closure, because part of the film is also this, when I took the Czech state to the court, So it actually shows that you can get the justice. If you are determined, if you get a really good lawyer, then you will win. And I really won the case first time ever in Czech Republic, is when the people try to get their best letter from the state, they always lost. But we managed.
Why do you think that was the case?
The right was on my side. And I think it was morally bankrupt from the state, insisting that they can keep your personal letters and refusing to hand them over. They said that I can get the certified colored copy. I said, no. You have no right to keep something which was stolen. And we did it. And for me, it was, what I said is a sort of an apology. Because all the times in 1963 we want someone from the Czech government or before the party leadership to just say sorry. When my mom asked for compensation, we said, forget the money. Just call the widows and say them we are sorry what we basically did. They never did it. And current government saying there's nothing more to do with us. We don't have to apologize, we didn't commit crime. So, I got something.
Yeah, that's, I mean, congratulations. I mean, that is absolutely amazing.